Literally, like, I think you should, like, just, like, take care of yourself. Like, you know, just, like, do it.
Cleansing all incorrect energy. Like, just to show you how good God is, I literally got free Domino's today and then they resent the order because they messed up. Thank you, God. Hello, darlings, and welcome to my YouTube channel. For those of you that are new, my name is Sadicka, and for those of you who already subscribed, already know what it is, thank you for clicking on another one. You know we're back in this. First and foremost, let me apologize because this video is very late. I am refilming this intro right before I drop this video because some of my content deleted, some of the footage was kind of messed up and blurry. It was just a whole ordeal. I am recovering from having strep throat, and I am also currently doing my finals for my third year of university in my first semester. So it's been very, very hectic for me, but I have still tried to remain consistent and remain accountable. So I'm going to apologize and let you know that I'm going to do better and be better. So please bear with me. I don't want to make this intro too long because this video is quite long already. I have conducted interviews with 5 different beautiful women, and shout out to you women. Thank you so much for giving me your time, your energy, and your opinions and perspectives. I really appreciate it, and I know that there's going to be someone out there that's going to connect with you and resonate with you and really understand you. And there's going to be people that are out there that are going to actually challenge you and not think the same way as you, but that is exactly what I want. I really want us to have important conversations, not only to understand one another, but to really understand ourselves. And Self-Care Sunday was really created for everyone to be their true authentic self and to be accepted and loved and appreciated no matter what that is. Obviously, I want us to all grow and evolve together. So that is the reason why I'm having these important conversations, and I'm hoping that you guys will have these important conversations not only amongst yourselves, but also with us. Interact with us, ask us about the questions, get active in my comments. I really appreciate it. So with this interview, I have gone ahead and asked 12 different questions. These 12 different questions were to see the different opinions and perspectives in regards to their races, their cultures, their backgrounds, intersectionalities, and self-care, and how that all kind of coincides. But yeah, I don't want to talk too much. If you're not doing so, make sure you subscribe, hit that red button, make sure you hit that bell. You already know what it is. I don't want you to miss out on any videos. Make sure you go ahead and follow me on Instagram because I do post on there more outside of YouTube. So without further ado, let's get right into these questions and meet these beautiful ladies, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.
My name is Tatiana Grant. I'm a full-time student studying criminology at Racialized University. I'm also a part-time worker and a business owner of the Girl Collection.
Hi.
Hi, my name is Beatrice. I'm currently a third-year student at Racialized University.
Hello, my name is Terza. I am 20 years old, and I am a graphic designer.
What is your background and what culture or group do you resonate with?
I associate myself with the West Indian / Caribbean ethnicity.
I'm Canadian. My background is Guyanese, so that's Indo-Caribbean, West Indian.
I'm a white person. Both my parents are of European descent.
Both my parents are Nigerians, you know, I'm a Nigerian girl or whatever.
But I am Indonesian, Australian, Dutch, but I grew up in Qatar, so I kind of resonate with a whole bunch of different cultures.
So where were you born and raised?
I was born and raised in Scarborough, so currently live in Scarborough. I'm a Scarborough girl.
I was born in Jamaica. I migrated to Canada while I was fairly young.
I was born and raised outside Toronto, like just outside Toronto.
I was born and raised in Scarborough, Ontario.
Qatar is in the Gulf or the Middle Eastern region, and it's about a 30-minute flight from Dubai, which everyone knows.
What do you yourself consider self-care?
Things that intellectually please my mind, like for example, like reading, writing, things like that I hold very close to my heart in terms of self-care. I also like therapy.
I think self-care is intentional habits that you do to take care of yourself and to make yourself feel better and at peace and comforted and content.
I think it's really broad, and I think it depends on the person and depends on the person's lifestyle and what they need as a person. Something that someone considers self-care could be just part of someone else's daily life, or could be something that no one would ever imagine doing.
I think that self-care is essential to keep a person sane. Self-care is something that improves your health, your well-being, and your overall happiness.
Taking time for yourself, putting away work, school, any type of stress. Anything that brings stress to you to the side, and kind of just focusing on what your needs are.
When would you say you became aware of self-care?
Self-care, I feel like, was subconsciously taught to me. I started, I'd say, like in high school. After I knew something was wrong with me, after long stressful days of school, I would spend my whole evening in the fucking hair store buying lip gloss. That would make me a little bit happier about my day. And hair products to go home and do deep conditions and all these cool stuff, and that is what made me happy. That is my self-care.
I don't really use the word self-care. I don't think it's a really great term to just throw around, because on social media it is very controversial. So I became aware of it because people on Twitter and mostly just Twitter like to argue that certain things are self-care and certain things are not. And there is sort of a stereotype that like face masks mean that you're taking care of yourself, which is, I get it, it's not.
I feel like I've always known about self-care, but like since I was a teenager. However, I feel that I only realized how important it was throughout my university experience.
I think I've always been aware of self-care, because I know when I get to my breaking point. So I've been self-aware, but I think when I was like really like taking time out and like actually caring for myself, was probably like grade 11 in high school. Just the stress of like, you know, getting your grades up, applying for university, making sure everything's good. That's when I think I really started to like apply self-care.
And so I would say when I left home at 16, I moved to Vancouver to do my bachelor's degree, and that was when I realized when I was like kind of isolated and finding a new home and a new place in this city that I've never been in and a country that I've never been in. That's when I kind of realized that I needed a lot more self-care because I was independent and alone.
Do you think that self-care is important, and do you think that it's portrayed as important as well?
I feel that self-care is extremely important because of the fact that you do need to withdraw yourself from people sometimes and just like take the time out to repair yourself. Anything that you might need, any energies that might be missing, just take the quick time to give yourself that so that you're able to go out into the world and properly be the best person in society that you can.
Probably, yeah, I'm gonna say it's important. I don't think everyone needs to, I don't love the word self-care, but I think it is important. And I think it's again, it's different for everybody. And I don't think everyone will use the word self-care even if they do practice it. But I think, yes, it is important.
Do I think self-care is important? For sure. Through our courses and just our instructors as well as media, they emphasize the importance of self-care greatly now. So I think that's definitely a factor in how much I feel that it's important.
It's very important. I think everybody, even the strongest people, feel like, you know, they can handle the world. Everybody has their breaking point, and I feel like if you don't take time to actually like I wouldn't say mellow down, but like kind of like calm down, try to get in tune with your body, your mind, and your soul is a very important. Because if all those things are out of whack or not in balance, it will affect your productivity, the way you work, the way you approach certain things. I feel like everybody needs that self-care, so it's very important.
Yeah, I think self-care is absolutely important. I feel like it's one of those things, like no one else is going to do it for you, so you have to take care of yourself. No one else is going to approach things the way that you would. And your emotional well-being and your mental well-being and your physical well-being has a lot to play about how much you want it.
Do you think race has an effect on self-care, and why?
In terms of race having an effect on self-care, I would more so say that it would be finances that have effects on self-care. Like, for example, I know that there might be like lower income racialized people just like me who don't have the money to go to Lush and buy all these spa things, or don't have the money to go buy a freaking Bath and Body Works candle. Like, all those little things that I would think make me feel better. I feel like in terms of how financially stable you are, a lot of people don't have the time to, no, not even the time, the money, sorry, to access all of these de-stressing utilities. They have to use their money for necessities that they need, so they don't get time to enjoy all the extras.
I'm sure it does. I'm gonna go ahead and say my opinion is probably not the best because I am a white person and I don't really talk about self-care. I don't really know a lot about like its relation to mental health. I don't know a lot. But I think self-care in general implies a lot of privilege, and I'm sure white privilege contributes to the privilege that someone would need to have to practice self-care. I think if someone is constantly working, if they don't have money, if they're below the poverty line, like I said before, self-care is going to be towards the bottom of the priority list for somebody. But someone who has a lot of money and a lot of resources, it's going to be really, really easy to do. So I think it has an effect, like social class and like financial ability has a much larger effect, but I also think white privilege has a large effect on classism. So I'm gonna say yes. I don't think my opinion is the one, you know? So maybe ask someone who knows things about self-care and who's not white.
For me, I feel like being a Black female, you've always been told you have to work 10 times harder for what you want. So I feel like as Black people, we always push ourselves to the limit. And because of that, we're always fighting ourselves. Like, even when we know our body needs to break, we're always fighting ourselves because we always want something, a goal we want to reach in life and all that stuff. So I feel like it's definitely made an impact in the way I work, in the way I approach certain things. But at the same time, it's realizing that as much as I am and I do have to work 10 times harder, I still need a break like every other person.
Yeah, I think so. The reason being a lot of traditions and cultures kind of look down on a lot of things. A lot of households, depending on the race, will look at things and just try to brush it off and being like, you know, you're overreacting. You're not.
And do you think your culture has any effect on your self-care views and practices?
I feel like the Jamaican culture is definitely all about self-care. Because they're so laid back and they're so about doing things like on their own time and on their own terms, which could be an issue in some ways. But I feel like their type of laid back living is just ideally like self-centered.
I don't really know that white culture is a thing either. Like, I don't even want to Google white culture because it's gonna be bad. People used to joke that it's mashed potatoes. Yeah, when you Google white culture, it's just white people appropriating other people's culture. So I'm gonna maybe skip that question because I don't think my culture has any effect on self-care views or practices. I think white people have sort of taken self-care, especially on social media, and turned it into something that it's not.
I definitely think that culture in general plays a role. This is because people practice self-care through religious aspects, through cultural aspects, so it's definitely a factor.
Most definitely. Like, whoever knows Nigerian people, especially my tribe, we like to enjoy life. We love to party, we love to turn up, we love to just like get away. And like I know like a lot of my family, like Friday night, you're going to your cousin's house, you're sitting down for like a 1-2 sip, you know, you're doing something to get away and just chat. Like that's just what was part of our culture. Like
I think culturally speaking, and I grew up in a very Christian household. A lot of the times when it came to emotions and feeling depressed, the thing that my mom would always tell me was just pray about it. Like if you pray about it, everything will be fine. Like it almost seemed like religiosity and spirituality played a bigger role than actually developing good and healthy habits to combat mental strain and depression and all these emotions.
How do you personally practice self-care?
I love to dance, I love to like kind of like be out. So for me, self-care would be like just getting cute and kind of like going out, maybe going out for dinner with my girls, or like, you know, or even just staying at home and listening to music, kind of jamming out on my own and kind of like spacing out. That's usually what my self-care is.
I don't like to say that I practice self-care, but in theory, like, yes, I do, but I just don't use those words. I'm an introverted person, and I do a lot of social interaction every day. I go to school in the middle of the city, and I work part-time in customer service, so I'm constantly talking to people and surrounded by people, and it's exhausting for me and it stresses me out. So I like to take the time to be by myself or be with like one person, like a family member or something. I do self-care by making sure that I'm not put in positions where I'm going to be uncomfortable and stressed out.
I have multiple ways that I practice self-care, and one of them is putting on some candles, lighting up some candles, taking a nice long shower, putting on a face mask and a hair mask. And I do this because I don't get to do this every day. I get to do this pretty rarely. So when I get the time, I take it, and it's kind of like special treatment for myself, you know? Taking care of myself.
And so for me, it's finding things that relax me and comfort me. So whether it's binging a show on Netflix, or I like to take bubble baths and read books, that really calms me down. And it's just a lot about taking myself out of busying situations and maybe avoiding going out and seeing a friend if that means that I would be stressed. Just spending a lot of time with myself and talking to myself more and learning more about what helps me and what I need in certain times. I think that's been very helpful. My top tip would be to do what's best for you, regardless of what people say. I know that's hard if you're still living with family, but at the end of the day, only you can make the decisions that are best for you. No one can make them for you. No one can help you grow or help you heal in the way that you help yourself. Self-care is a journey. There's never really a destination, because I feel like as you grow and as you get older, there are other things that you need to be taken care of, and I feel like just kind of going with the process and realizing that there will be ups and downs and there will be trial and error, but as long as you keep progressing and as long as you keep trying to find ways to take care of yourself, I think that's all that matters.
Thank you so much. Bye, my love. Hey.
Bye.